I see on necessities.org on the 4th of January '08 they put a post up there about connecting several NXTs together using the high-speed RS485 port, which is commonly called port 4. Here's a project that I've created demonstrating use of that port. You can see here I have 3 NXTs connected together, and I've connected them via a breadboard to illustrate that only 2 wires are needed to make this work. In this close-up I wanted to illustrate there's only 2 wires needed to make these bricks talk to each other. It's pin 5 to pin 5, pin 6 to pin 6, all the way through. There's no reversing of wires. When networking computers together, it is very important that only one computer or node speak at a time. There's 2 methods of doing this. One is called a token, which is commonly used in Ethernet type networks. The second method is a master-slave relationship, which is the method I use in this demo. This one's the master, these 2 are the slave. The way this works is, the master always asks the slaves if it has any information to send back. The slaves can only respond to a request from the master.
And basically the way this works is, when I press a button, it's telling the slave that it has a response every time it's pulled, and it's telling it to turn on this light in the reverse direction. If I release the button, it turns off. If I press this button, this slave is responding to the pull, saying turn this port on in the forward condition. On the master here, if I press a touch sensor, you can see here that this one begins to blink. It's sending out a command telling this slave to turn on that light in the forward condition. And of course, when I release the touch sensor, the command is stop being sent, the light stops blinking. The same for this one here. And if I press several buttons, all these lights will work. Now the reason why this blinks fairly slow is because I have a half-second delay in the master here so that we can see how this stuff operates here. Now I tried to get a close-up of the screens here. I'm trying to demonstrate here that the master is sending out a request to the slave asking if it has any information to send back. If there is no information, all it does is send back an A. A5 means that this is slave 5 responding, and A2 means slave 2 is responding. If I press one of the buttons, you see here we're getting a 5 turning on sensor 2 has been turned on. And if I press this one, see how we're getting a 2 with an S2 turned on. And if I press here, it's kind of flashing, but it's sending out a C. C means command. And you can tell it's telling it to flash this light here. If you only have 2 NXTs connect together, you can use a straight NXT cable to connect port 4s on each NXT together, and they will communicate with the appropriate software. If you want to connect up more than 2 NXTs together, then you need something here called a port splitter. This is basically a device that's made by mindsensors.com. It's called a splitter.nx, and that's what's been used here. And you can see here I just connected 3 together here, but we can connect 4. With more than 2 splitters you can connect up more than 4 NXTs. I don't have that many NXTs, bricks. Now concerning cable length, serial ports are supposed to be good up to about 1,000 feet of cable using a 2-conductor or 1-pair cable. And here's an example where I've hooked up approximately 250 feet of cable. I actually don't have a 1,000-foot long piece of cable, but I have 2 cables that add up to 250 feet. And you can see here that they're still working. They still talk to each other.